All right, what's up, guys? Vivi back with another video. And in today's video, as you can see on the screen here, we got some black yellow Luffy action lined up for today. That's right. But before I get ahead of myself here, today's video is going to be much more chill, much more lighthearted. I really just wanted to show you guys some projects that I've been working on, some deck building projects I've been working on. So let me go and lay out the video real quick so you know what you're getting into, and then we'll go from there. First up, we're going to be checking out 3 games on the sim. Only 3 games for today, but they're going to be 3 separate decks. We got a game of black yellow Luffy, black yellow Linlin. That's right, it's been a while since we featured her on the channel, right? That leader on the channel. And then purple yellow Nico Robin. Okay, so we got like, it's basically a bunch of yellow decks, but hey, if you're new to the channel, just know that yellow is my main color. That's my favorite color in the game. So not too surprising, right? But yeah, we got those 3 games we're going to go over first, and then we're going to hop over to the deck list at the end of the video this time, because that's probably going to be the majority of this video. Well, it'll probably be like pretty much perfectly in 2 halves. The first half being the 3 games on the sim, and the second half being just going over the deck lists and, telling you guys, I'll be telling you guys what I think about the leaders moving forward and how we can maybe potentially make these decks a little bit stronger in the next set and in the next set, EB02 and OP11. Okay, so with that in mind, let's get into this. I'll have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and things like that in the comments section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, anything like that, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comments section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link is in the channel description. Now, let's do this, guys. Let's get into it. First up, we have a game here of black yellow Luffy versus purple Luffy, and this is OP10 post bans, right? Speed is on 2x, volume is off, and here we go. Now, this is an 18-minute game here. This one's a doozy. So, purple Luffy's going to start off going first here. They're going to play down Trafalgar Law, and we're going to play out a Garp. I think, generally speaking, building black yellow Luffy, building any of the 3 brothers moving forward, the ST13 3 brothers bond set, you got black yellow Luffy, red yellow Sabo, and blue yellow Ace. I think all of those decks. Okay, hang on, Paul. Something pretty big interactions about to happen here. We got to talk about. But I think building any of those leaders going forward, I think we need to keep it Go a Kingdom. I think that's a very important part of the equation on making it work. Because, okay, now black yellow Luffy no longer has Ice Age and no longer has Gecko Moria. More importantly, Gecko Moria. So without Gecko Moria, remember, even with Gecko Moria, the deck still heavily relied on the 2-cost character interactions with the 5-cost characters. So I think we still have to build around that idea, around that concept. So with that in mind, let me go ahead and break down this play right here. Watch what my opponent does. I think they could have done things a little bit better, but watch what they do right here. They swing for 6,000 with this character. They want to see what I do. Okay, watch this. They're going to pass the turn. They swung for 6, and then they passed. They didn't swing with the leader. Why didn't they swing with the leader? For the newer players out there, you might not be aware, but before the bans happened to Black Yellow Luffy, we lost 8-cost Gecko Moria. Typically, the way to play around Black Yellow Luffy was to not attack into their face pretty much until you have a full board. You make the black yellow Luffy player take all of their own life cards, and then you go from there. Well, things are a little bit different now. I mean, I still think you should respect the leader effect of black yellow Luffy. It is very powerful, but hear me out. Now, things are a little bit different now. You probably can just attack into black yellow Luffy. I guess it depends on the build, but I think generally speaking, it's not the worst idea just to attack into black yellow Luffy, force him to have all the 2-cost cards he can get access to. So that's why my opponent did not attack with their leader. They didn't forget. They actually took a pretty decent amount of time to make that decision. They made a decision there. Okay, wait a minute. They took the 6K hit, so I'm just going to pass, because otherwise I might take the second 5K hit, and now I have all these cards in my hand, and I can go from there. One thing I do want to say is I think they should have poked with their leader first to see if I take, because if I take the 5K hit, then they can even swing for 6 and make me take the next one, or just decide, okay, I don't want to attack him anymore, and play out some type of 4-cost card, but we don't know what's in our opponent's hand. Okay, now, with that in mind, now it's back to my turn. I'm on my second turn now. 4 Dawn, we went second, and we're swinging 2 into 2 here. They're probably just going to let this go. Yep, they choose to let that go, and we are going to swing for 5, and it looks like we're going to play out a Frankie, guys. That's right, a 4-cost Frankie right here. Okay, let's see if they choose to take this. They counter out with a 5-cost Chopper. I do like the Chopper tech in Purple Luffy. I've been seeing that a lot lately. They're going to ramp a Dawn, play out the 7-cost Luffy Taro, cheating out the Sangoro. They are down to 6 Dawn. We're going to swing for 6 here, and then we're going to play out the 5-cost Luffy and try to set up next turn, right? Okay, so let's see what they choose to do here. They're going to play out the Sanji. Okay, so there was a missequencing there. There was, pause, we do have to talk about this. I understand people might say, like, yeah, but he had to tap down the character, right? Okay, yes, that is true. Like, to play out the Sanji, he had a Dawn -1 to tap down my character, but that dropped him down to 7 Dawn. I personally would have actually taken a life card with my leader effect to go back up to 8 Dawn. So again, let's go back and look at this real quick, guys. So right here, they are on 8 Dawn, right? They went down to 6 last turn. They went up to 8 Dawn this turn. They play out the Sanji -1. They're down to 7. Now when they attack with Sangoro, they don't get to draw a card. I think drawing a card here is very important, and they actually would have drawn 2 cards at the cost of 1 life there. So they swing in for 6. I am going to 1k counter out of that one. I'm going to force him to commit more stuff to the board here. He's going to swing for 6 into it, and now I'm probably just going to let it go. That's fine. I did want to get 1k counter out of that. I wanted to see if I could get him to turn his Luffy Taro sideways, or the Sanji, and he did not. He did not take the bait there. That was well played by my opponent. Okay, so now we're on an 8 Dawn turn. Let's see what ends up happening here. We have a lot of options. Now, notice I'm running the 7-cost Trafalgar Law. We're going to talk more about that throughout the course of these games. I used my 7-cost Law to put another 7-cost Law into my life, adding a Dawn to my leader for free because my leader is a Supernova leader, and then I swing for 7 into his character so that he has to defend it, and he does, and now it is their turn. They're swinging in here. They played out a Linlin this turn, pushing my Frankie to life, and now they swing in for 5. We take it. Again, I'm scaring him. When I take these little 5k hits, you could tell it was spooking him a little bit. So he swings in. I take all of these without hesitation. I want to keep him on that. I want to keep my opponent a little bit scared here. They're going to swing for 8. I could counter out of this, but it would cost a 2k, 1k, 1k, and I don't want to give my opponent that kind of information. Okay, now right here, notice I do have Viola in my hand as well. I do have a 2-cost Viola blocker in my hand, so I can turn my life card face down so I don't lose it due to my leader's effect. I have some options here. I'm going to play out another Trafalgar Law. What did I put to life? I'm sorry, guys, hang on 1 second. Okay, so we have all 4 Trafalgar Laws this game. That card is extremely good, actually. Like, the 7-cost 9k Trafalgar Law is a very strong card, but I would like some 2k counters or something like that, you know, as well. You know, maybe have 2 or 3 of that card, and then maybe some 2k counters. But one thing I will say, pause, guys, I'm sorry, so much is happening. Hear me out. 7-cost 9,000 power Trafalgar Law, it is one of those cards where it's not as bad as you think having multiples in your hand. For those who are not aware of how the card works, let me see if I can go backwards and like pause on the card. I might be able to pause it just right. Hang on 1 second. Let me. Oh, I almost had it there. Let me see. I'm not going to keep pausing it over and over again, but hear me out. I'll try to just explain the card. It's a 7-cost 9,000 power card that says you may put a Supernova card into your life face down. Like, you reveal the card. It has to be a Supernova card. You reveal it and you put it into your life face down, and then you attach a Dawn to your leader if it's a Supernova leader. So they did just mess up an attack. They swung 8 into 9. We let that go. And then they swing 9 into 9. We 1k counter out. They're swinging 5 into face here. I'm very tempted to take this. I'm very, very tempted to take this. Okay, so they go ahead, or I do go ahead and counter out of that, and now let's see what he chooses to do. They're going to swing it for 7, and I knew I was going to take the 7k because I didn't want to give too much for that. Okay, we get the 7-cost 9k Trafalgar Law back. So now that we have, like I was saying, it's not that bad to have multiples in your hand, because now look what I'm doing, guys. I'm just clearing his board out, and I'm just chaining 7-cost 9ks into the board and into the life, and getting an extra Dawn for free onto my leader, and just going from there. Okay, so here we go. We're going to swing for 6. We're going to play out the Sabo here, setting up for future turns. Purple Luffy doesn't have a lot of removal. They do have some removal, sort of like pseudo removal in the form of, like, you know, Linlin, or some might be running 9-cost Kaido, or even like maybe some type of events, or the 7-cost Sanji to rest things down and KO them, Usohachi to KO them, or to rest things down and KO them. You know, there are some options there, but I'm not scared of him resting down and KOing my Sabo. It won't really matter to me all that much. Okay, so we're going to go 11 into this first Linlin, and then we're going to go 11 into the second one. We're going to force all the cards out of our opponent's hand here. They are going to counter out. Okay, they are going to counter out, so we're going to swing 11 and then 11 again. We're just getting these cards off the board, and we're saying, okay, your turn. Let's see how you want to deal with your turn, because now we have 3 life and we have the full board. We're no longer scared of our opponent's board anymore. We were able to kind of outpace or out-attrition them, whatever you want to call it. If I had a 2k counter, things would have got ugly right there, guys. If I just had one 2k counter there, things would have got ugly. But that's okay. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. So I did trash my Portgosti ace there. It's just not great against my opponent here, who's playing very well. They're playing this game very, very well. They're playing it correctly. Okay, so now I'm going to swing in for 5, 7, 9, and I'm at 3 life. My opponent's at 1 life now, and I have 4K counter in hand, so I'm kind of daring him like, hey, I dare you to attack into my Trafalgar Law, and if he wants to, it's going to cost him like his entire turn, right? Okay, we're just going to let that card go, of course. We're not going to defend the Garp. There's no reason. And now they're going to swing 13 into 9. I was 1K counter away from saving that card, and I probably would have because I could have gone for game here. Okay, so my opponent has 2 Dawn open. They're flirting with a not Rad Beam, excuse me, a Gum Gum Giant. And I can't really do anything about that. If they have it, they have it. If they don't, they don't. So I'm just going to try to, I'm thinking about just going 15 into 6 here and saying, okay, do you have double Gum Gum Giant? Because I'm going to make you use both of them right here. Let's get this over with, bud. Tell me if you got it or not. All right, they're going to swing for 5 here. I think I should probably take this, to be honest. Absolutely. Because remember, we did know what the card was. We knew it was a Trafalgar Law. We said it there with our other 3 Trafalgar Laws, right? Which went one after another. Okay, so here we go. All right, so I have this Frankie in the deck. People are probably wondering, why are you running Frankie? By the way, I just played out the 7 cost 9K Trafalgar Law. I put a Basil Hawkins on the top of my deck, excuse me, on the top of my life there, which has a draw 2, trash 1 trigger. I play out the Viola, which sets all of my life cards face down. He's going to swing in for 5. We're going to take it, draw 2, trash 1. Remember, we knew it was there. We put it there. He's going to swing for 6. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take that. So I got a Frankie, and I know my bottom life is a Viola. We know it is a Viola. Okay, they play out Choppermon, which allows you to, let me go backwards real quick. Watch this, guys. Let me pause. If you have 8 or more Dawn on your field, set up to one of your purple characters with 6,000 power or less in the Straw Hat Crew type as active. So he set his Chopper as active. So he's going to swing in for 8 here. Now, I am probably still going to take this. He only has 1 more attack left, realistically. Okay, so yeah, swinging for 9. Here's the blocker. Let's see if he wants to attack with the Eustace Kid. That'd be a little bit dangerous, I'm not going to lie. Attacking with Eustace Kid here is basically me going to... I would take the game from that, right? Because he only has 3 cards, and he only has 1 life. And he has no Dawn open. Okay, so here we go. I'm not really in a rush here to attack into my opponent. He does have a blocker, and I don't know, you know... I'm not going to chance trying to go for lethal here. Maybe I could have, to be honest. Let's do some math real quick, guys. Hang on 1 second. Let's pause and do some math here. Pause. So say instead of going into the character here, let's see if I could just go for lethal. If I put 5 on Shirahoshi, that's right, guys, 5 on Shirahoshi, and then it would be 4 on Sabo, 1 on Leader. So it'd be 5, 6, 6, 9. Yeah, so 5 would get met with a 1K counter, 6 would get met with a 2K, and then he could block 1 and take the other. So let's just, maybe we do like just 3 attacks. Let's see what that would look like. Okay, so if we put 5 on Sabo, 5 on Leader. No, we'd have to do a little bit different. We have 7K, 17, so that would be an 8K attack and a 9K attack. So we could go 8, 9, 9. I think that's too risky. Honestly, I mean, because if he has 2K, he gets out of it, so I don't think it's worth going for lethal there. Instead, what I'm going to do is just start poking at his board. So watch this, guys, and we're finally at 0 life, by the way. We are finally, for the first time in the game, we're on turn 11, guys, and we just now hit 0 life. Okay, so here we go. We're going to attach 2 Dawn to our Leader. We swing 9 into 6. He does counter out, and we're going to be able to put some cards into life. I put a Who's Who and a Sabo into life. That's interesting, isn't it? Watch this, guys. We're going to play out the Sabo with the effect of the 2 cost. So we go up to 7,000 power for the turn. You know, base power for the turn until the end of our opponent's next turn. And now we're going to swing for 11, it looks like, maybe. Or it looks like I might just swing for 9. Yeah, 9 into 8, that was risky, saying, hey, you got a 2K counter, you get out of it. He does. I play out a Frankie, and I pass the turn. Okay, well, what's the point of having cards like Who's Who in here? If they're going to be face up, for those who are not aware of how the Black-Yellow Luffy Leader works, if you have a face-up card in your life card, when they attack into you, it doesn't go to your hand. It goes to the bottom of your deck, okay, if it hits, right, if the attack hits. But watch this, guys. You guys know what Frankie does, right? Frankie's a very, very powerful card here that on KO, okay, let me pause while I have this on. On KO, play up to 1 cost 3 or lower Dressrosa type character rested from your trash. Did you guys know Viola's Dressrosa? and her on play effect can flip my life cards face down, and it's a blocker. Yes, that's right. That's exactly correct. So right here, I think I'm going to counter out of the first hit because it's just a 7K. It's like, okay, let's not get too greedy. Okay, now for 9, I'm going to pull out the Viola, flipping my life card face down. So now, whatever I can do whatever from this point, right? If he attacks in, I can take the hit, and I get a 2K counter in hand, or I could KO something like the Choppermon. Okay, and I do decide to KO the Choppermon just in case, just to be safe. Well, I've got 2 more blockers now, and I'm 7,000 power, so I'm going to 2K counter out of that one. So at this point right here, the game's basically over, but they're going to go and attack in, of course. I'm going to give a 1K counter here, and that's going to be that, guys. It's going to be swing 7. It's going to be swing 9. GG. That was one heck of a game there. I mean, that was a 12-turn game, guys. That was a 12-turn game. Let me see if you guys can see it here. Let me play. Okay, so we swing for 7. There it is. See it in the top right corner, guys? This is the turn count up here at the very top right. 12-turn play. Good game to my opponent. That was a fun one. Don't worry. We'll talk about Black Yellow Luffy at the end. We'll talk about all these lists at the end. Okay, so good game to my opponent. Now let's move on to Black Yellow Linlin. Volume is off. Speed is on 2x, and here we go. Wow. Look at that hand, guys. What do some of these cards even do? What do some of these cards even do? We got Pudding in here. We're going to search up a blocker here. That is a Shockwave or an Impact Wave, depending on the translations, right? We got Shockwave in hand. That is a 2-cost event. That is a 4K counter, and it can KO an active 3-cost or lower character. Okay, and the trigger can KO a 4-cost character, whether they're active or not. So we're going to swing in for 7 here. Let's see what they choose to do. They'll probably just take this. Unless they want to counter out, I won't be upset about that, right? They'll go down to 3 cards. They do take it. Okay, so here we go. Let's see if they know what's going on here. Let's see if they pick up on this play here. I would be so surprised, and I know what they do. I was going to be so surprised if they attack with Brook, and spoiler warning, they do. I was like, are you serious? They actually attacked with the Brook there? Because now I can attack into the Brook, right? That only helps me out more than anything. And then I got the trigger for Shockwave, and we still KO'd the Brook anyway. Okay, we'll take it. We're going to swing in for 7 more. We're just kind of beating them down here for 7K attacks. And watch this follow-up, guys. He's not keeping that Kuzan on the board. At least not this turn. Hey, this turn, he is not keeping that Kuzan on the board. Black Yellow Linlin. Man, I was very comfortable on this deck. I'm not going to lie. I was very comfortable playing this deck. It's like I've played this deck 1,000 times or something. I'm having like deja vu. I don't know what's going on. That's right. For anyone who might be new to the channel, this is a leader that I used to main way back in Block 1. Way back, all the way back in Block 1 and going into Block 2. Like, this was a leader that I mained for quite some time. All right, here we go. So they're going to swing for 8,000 into 5. We're going to take that. That plays perfectly into our leader effect. We're not upset about that at all. So the leader effect on Black Yellow Linlin is attach to, pay 2, when attacking, trash a card, gain a life if you have 1 or less life cards. So we swing. That was a 4-Dawn investment. We swing for 7. We gain a life. And then with the remaining 4-Dawn, we play out Borsalino. We're in a good spot. Now, the blockers are usually very good for me, having all these little cheap blockers, but against a deck that's running any kind of black removal, or even purple with all the resting, green with resting and stuff like that, it's just not very good. So we're not actually happy with those blockers right now, so we're just going to trash them with our leader's effect to just straight up gain life. It's almost like they work like a 1K counter, but instead we're like cycling it to draw a card and gain life and things like that. It's very powerful. So they're going to play out the Jack here. They tried to KO my Borsalino, guys. We might have a new player. This Lucci player might be new to the game. They just tried to KO. Well, I mean, maybe they just wanted to cycle with Jack, to be fair, but I think they tried to KO my guy. I'm going to swing 5 into 5, and they let it go. I could not believe that. I was about to swing even more into it with the Borsalino. I was going to go 5 into it, 5 into it, and I'm about to slam down that beautiful, luscious 10-cost character in my hand. That's right, 10-cost Linlin. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, man, most balanced card in the game, easily, by far. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I mean, it's pretty balanced considering it's, like, leader locked. But 10-cost Linlin, extremely powerful. 10-cost 12K on play. If your leader has the types Big Mom Pirates, you gain a life. Your opponent trashes a life. They don't gain it to hand. They trash a life. And then, yeah, you got this massive body on the board. So they're going to go ahead and get rid of that. They KO'd it easily. Yeah, KOing a 10-cost character nowadays, easy peasy. Who can't do it? I don't know. I was going to say, well, I guess Yellow can't. You know, good old, poor old Yellow. I know people were very upset with the Rygo bans. All right, so they're gonna follow up with a Rebecca here. They just had a 3-Dawn play here with Hina to -8 to my 10-cost character, popping it with Jack. They play out a Rebecca, grab a card from the trash, and now they're probably going to play out a card, maybe play out the, play the Brook out over the Suru, and now they've got a decent board. But here's the thing, guys. that Rebecca does not mean anything to me. Because now that Gecko Moria is gone, I don't care about Rebecca, right? They can have all the Rebeccas they want to. At least that's my personal opinion. I'm not scared of Rebecca. Gecko Moria was the scary card for me. Because it wasn't just Rebecca. It was a 9,000 power body on top of it and a 2-cost card to combo with the Rebecca, right? It was insanity. But now that that's gone, we're happy about it. Guys, I'm swinging with this Borsellino. I'm not using this guy as a blocker at all. I mean, if they want to attack into him, then it's like he's a blocker anyway, right? Who cares? But I'm just smashing face with this character, and I'm saying, hey, go ahead. If you want to attack into him, you be my guest. They're going to play out a Kaido. They're going to get rid of my 7 Lin. I'm going to have to trash a card. I give them these blockers. These blockers are not good into the black matchup because they can remove it so easily. So they're going to swing in for 6 here. It looks like we can take this. I think, yeah, well, we're going to 2K counter out. Now watch this. They swing with Jack first. I was going to use the Shockwave this turn no matter what. Pause. So what just happened there, guys? For the newer players, you might not know. They swing in for 8 here. Now watch this. I use Shockwave. I have it at the top right corner of the screen here. It is a 2-cost, 4,000 power counter that has KO up to one of your opponent's active characters with a cost of 3 or less. So I paid 2. I get out of this 8,000 power attack perfectly, going to 9. And I KO one of the Hinas, taking one of his attacks away, but I don't really care about that, right? I will say this, I actually planned on taking the 8,000 power hit from Jack this turn, because I was just going to counter out of the... So what I think my opponent should have done was swing 5, 5, 6, 8, and if that was the case, what I was going to do is if they swung with Hina first, I was actually going to have to use the Shockwave first to get out of that attack, KOing the other Hina, but in the end, it ended up working out the exact, exactly the same... basically had the same result. So we get rid of one of the Hinas. He attacks them for 5. We're going to take this. We get a Shigan Finger Pistol. We'll pop the other one. Who cares? Whatever. The game's over, though. We've got perfect math here. Swinging in for 9. They only have 2 cards in hand. Swinging in for 11. GG. Why? How do we know that was perfect math, guys? Because when they had 2 cards in hand, they only had 1 life and 2 cards in hand, right? I can swing for 9 and I can swing for 11. So if they have 2 cards in hand, the most they could possibly have is 2K, right? Because they have no Dawn open for events. So if I swing for 9, well, 2 2Ks gets them to 9. And if they get another 2K from their life and I swing for 11, that can only get them to 11. So we had them mathematically there. Good game to my opponent. That was a fun one. It felt really nice playing this deck again. I did miss playing this. All right, we got one more game, guys. We got Purple, Yellow, Nico, Robin. I made a slight adjustment to the list I will show at the end of the video. This is a project I've been working on for a while with my buddy Mike. Shout out to my buddy Mike. We're always deck building together. And, we messed around with this leader for a while, and then, Sabo got new support. All kinds of stuff happened. Right? But hey, don't worry. We don't never forget about these leaders. We just have to take a break every now and then. So we're going to go first. Hang on, pause. So this is Purple, Yellow, Nico, Robin versus Blackbeard. We're going to go first here, and we're actually going to, so turn 1, we had no play. Turn 1, Blackbeard had no play. And now we go turn 2, swing for 6 with Banish, trashing the Nico Robin from our hand to ramp a Dawn, and then we play out the Shirahoshi, and now we're on turn 2 for the Blackbeard player, the Marshall D. Teach player. Okay, so let's see what they choose to do here. Guys, I'm about to teach y'all a lesson about sequencing. We're going to have to learn a lesson here about sequencing for any of the newer players out there or for people who just don't pay attention to it. Playing out Lafitte here first before attacking is a strict play mistake, and I'm going to punish him for it right here. Okay, I'll take the hit. Oh, it's a Nami. What's this? Yes, I'll go ahead and use the on-play effect and KO your character you just played, and I'll draw a card. And now he doesn't get to use the search, and he plays down a blocker and lost all the value that turn, and I got to cycle a card. Okay, so that was just make sure you're doing sequencing properly when you can, when you have the chance to. Okay, so it looks like we don't really have a good play here. I'm just going to swing for 7 with our leader. We're not going to ramp a Dawn because I wanted to play out the 4-cost character. I would have liked to play out the trash the Sanji with the effect to ramp, but we just didn't have any other good follow-up play. All right, we did get a Nora Beam Sword. We're going to use that to ramp a Dawn here, and now we're going to swing for 5 with Banish, so they have to give me a card. They lose life, and they don't gain it to hand. And now we're going to slam down a 9-cost Linlin. We're going to trash a card. We're going to gain a life and pass the turn back. Getting down that 9 like our opponent's not forgetting to use their leader effect, by the way. They just have no cards in hand because we're attacking with Banish with our leader every single turn. So right here, guys, they're going to play out double Lafitte. That was a pretty good, they hit some pretty good cards there to fill up their board. We did get a Frankie. We're going to cycle a card out, and we're going to, now it's our turn. They played out a Burgess. I'm swinging 9 into Lafitte. That card's gone. I'm going to swing probably 1K into this next Lafitte here. ends up being like the same thing. I should have swung for 3 into it, I'm going to be honest, because he's going to 1k counter out. That was a very good play, because now I'm not going to attack into his face. So that was very well played by my opponent. Now I play out a Sanji, I play out a Shirahoshi. That's why I only wanted to swing for 1k, so I can have a better follow-up play. But they played around it very well, and I ended up having to attack into it. They kept their life up. Okay, so here we go. So they attack into our character. That's fine. They play out a Van Augur. They play out a Shiryu, and now it's going to be my turn. And they don't even have the ability to use their leader now. They have no cards in hand, guys. They have 0 cards in hand. So now we're going to get to play out this Onami and get some, some card cycling going on. We're going to trash the Basil Hawkins, draw 2 cards with the Onami effect, and we're going to play out. It looks like a Shirahoshi. Yep, and then we'll just attack for 7, attack for 9. We did not do the best sequencing there, but hey. You know, again, we're in a situation where we were trying to find some better answers. So they're going to play out the Marshall D teacher, but I think we're gonna have a little bit of fun here in a minute. They're going to swing for 5. I should have blocked first, guys. Should have blocked first. Watch what happens here. I get punished for making a bad decision. Oh, a free trigger blocker. So in other words, if I would have just blocked with Shirahoshi to clear up my board space, I could have taken this 6k hit, and then guess what would have happened? I'd have got the blocker right back into play. We're going to block out with the Shirahoshi anyway at the end of the turn here to stop the Burgess attack, so why don't we do that? Pulse. Okay, pop quiz. Pop quiz. Can I go for lethal here? Someone do the math. Guys, do the math. All right, pause it, because I'm about to explain it. Pop quiz, can we go for lethal here? My opponent has 1 card in hand, okay? They have 1 card in hand, and they have 1 life. They do have a blocker, and we do not have a 9,000 power Charlotte Linlin. Okay, well, here we go. If I attack in for 5 with my leader, that means they have to counter out or give me the blocker, right? Because if they take it, it is banished, so their life card is gone, okay? Then I can go for 5, 7, 7. That would be my follow-up. I can put 5 Dawn on Shirahoshi to swing for 5. That's right, on Shirahoshi, guys. 5 Dawn on Shirahoshi and make it and swing in for 5. And then 7 on the Onami, or 5 on the Onami, putting her at 7 to swing in for 7. And then I have 7 more on Sanji. Okay, so here we go. Watch what happens here. We're going to swing for 5. This is the very first thing we're going to do, a blank 5. What are you going to do? Are you going to give me your card in hand? Are you going to give me your life? Or are you going to give me the blocker? There is no right answer to that, by the way. Like, just all of them are terrible. All of those options are terrible. Okay, so here we go. So we swing for 5. They give me a 2k counter. Okay, no problem. Well, now I know my 5k is going to go through. Now, one more thing I should have done differently there is I actually, technically speaking, I think I should have done the Onami first for 3. Put 3 on Onami and swing for 5. We know it's going to go through. It's going to get the blocker. But here's why I say that. Say they get a Shigan Finger Pistol from life, because that's the one thing that can hurt me right here. Say they get a Shigan Finger Pistol from life, and they KO my other character. Well, guess what? In this situation, they KO my Onami, and I can play out a 3-cost blocker to try to survive next turn, but it would not be pretty. Maybe I could eat up their board a little bit and try to survive next turn. It would probably not go well is my point. But hear me out. If instead, say I put 3 Dawn on the Onami here and swing for 5, okay, number 1, I have 7 more Dawn to play with for the turn, okay, to do whatever I want with it. And then number 2, if they KO my Shirahoshi, I draw a card. Or excuse me, not draw a card. I gain a life. So that gains me a life, and I still have a blocker follow-up. You see what I'm saying? So it was definitely the better play here to only put 3 Dawn on Onami and swing first if I am going to be going all out like this. All right, let's see what happens. The only card they can draw here to win them the game is actually a Shigan Finger Pistol, or I bid 5 million or whatever it's called, or 500 million berries or whatever it's called. Okay, but we're going to swing for 7. They can't get out of it, and it was a 2k counter and everything. It just doesn't matter because we mathed. We did perfect math on this, and we just mathed them out of the game. So a good game to my opponent. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, that's it for the games today. Now, let's go ahead and check out these decks over on the sim. First up, we're going to do Black Yellow Luffy. We're going to go Black Yellow Luffy, Black Yellow Linlin, and Purple Yellow Nico Robin. So this is the list I was messing around with. What's going on here? What's the idea behind Frankie? Remember, we talked about this a little bit in the video. This can bring back a cost 3 or lower Dressrosa type character. It doesn't matter what color it is, and Viola is what it's bringing back. That's what we're trying to bring back, but let me explain that more in just a second. First, let me explain the leader. For the newer players out there, I'm gonna read the leader, and then we're going to blast through this deck list. So Luffy is a 5,000 power, 4 life, Black Yellow yellow leader, Supernova, and Straw Hat type. And it has, per the rules, your face-up life cards will be sent to the bottom of your deck instead of your hand. And then Dawn ×2, activate main once per turn. You may discard 1 card from your hand, and if your life is at 0 cards, you may add up to 2 5-cost characters from your hand or trash to your life face up. Okay, but remember, they're face up in your life, so per the rules, they'll go to the bottom of your deck if you take damage. However, the 2-cost characters down here like Sabo and Ace, they allow you to get around that effect and cheat them right into play. So we're running 4 of the 5-cost blocker Sabo, 4 of the 2K counter Who's Who, 3 Frankie, 4 Viola, 4 Shirahoshi. Again, we'll talk more about this in just a minute here. 4 Satori, 4 Basil Hawkins, 4 7-cost Trafalgar Law, 4 of the 2-cost Sabo and the 2-cost Ace, 4 5-cost Rush Ace, 4 Goa Kingdom, Monkey D. Garp. This is like the Goa Kingdom Searchers, kind of what I call it. And then 3 of the 5-cost Luffy. I think going forward with this list, guys, I have to tell you guys what I think going forward is we're probably going to start moving more into a Dressrosa direction. Dressrosa searches up Sabo, it searches up Frankie, it searches up Viola, it searches up this Ace, it searches up this Trafalgar Law, and there are some other cards as well, just to put that in perspective, guys. Let me bring up Dressrosa and bring up the black-yellow cards. There's a new card in EB02 we're going to talk about more in just a second. Hey, hold that thought. But guys, these are all the Dressrosa searchable cards. Okay, so we have this card. This is also Dressrosa searchable for what it matters. This card, Lucy's very strong. Pause and read this if you don't know what it does. This new Secret Luffy is searchable. And of course, we have the Frankie we talked about. This Rebecca is technically Dressrosa, but it's not searchable because the searcher we would use for this would be Rebecca. So one thing I think I'll be doing moving forward with the list is moving into more of a Dressrosa direction with only a minimal amount of the Three Brothers support. I'm going to move more into a Dressrosa direction, and I want to show you guys what that might look like going forward. I got to give a shout out to one of the guys that was hanging out in the Discord. I think it was on Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember of this week. Ratchet, that was their name. It was Ratchet. I made sure to write down the names over here. I always try to give credit where it's due and call people out and stuff. I know they like that kind of stuff. Okay, if I can even find it, it might be on this other paper. Yeah, it was. These were the people who were hanging out with me on when we were trying to brainstorm this. Of course, we had JT Dragon, Rango, Mo, and Ratchet. Big shout out to those guys for hanging out, trying to help me make this deck work. And this was a card they recommended, 6-cost Sakazuki. So this is experimental, guys. Don't be, saying this, that, and the other. But this is a direction I was looking at leaning more, towards with the deck. Going forward, once we get access to EB02, there's a new card coming out called Trafalgar Law. It's a 5-cost, 6,000 power, 1K counter blocker with an on-play, return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order, and then you can choose one of the two, either A, draw a card, or B, you can, if your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand, you can make them trash a card. Here's the thing about this card, though. I don't even really care about that. I just care that it is a 5-cost character that is searchable by Dressrosa, and it is a Supernova card that I can put into my life with my Trafalgar Law. So this card, and it's a 5-cost card that I can use with the Leader's Effect. So it's actually like it's a very strong utility piece, and I think it will open up some doors for us to maybe work in some ideas of more Dressrosa support for this deck in the future, and like maybe a more a direction that's a little more consistent. We'll have to see what happens. But I've done very limited testing with this, but it's playing out okay, but I'm not really able to close out games very effectively. We'll have to figure more stuff out. And I think that the answer is going to be by adding more of these 2-cost targets and being able to get to 7K power more consistently, more frequently. But we'll see what happens. Who's Who is just a good card in here. I would probably drop down to 2 of these and go up another Satori for another trigger body for more pressure. This one was experimenting with the Sanji here, the new EB02 Sanji coming out. 5 costs, 6,000 power, 1K counter blocker. On play, if you have 2 or less life cards, or 2 or less life, draw 2 cards and trash 1 card from your hand. Just a solid utility blocker. It's 5 cost. We can put into life with our Leader's Effect if we need to. Still running the Basil Hawkins because it just combos well with our 7-cost Trafalgar Laws, just like this one does. Like just good synergy there. I was running 2 beige in this version of the list. I did not show this one off on the video today. This is another list I'm still working on for EB02. But that's when I plan. Let me say that right now, guys. Today was a little bit of a tease because I don't plan on really going forward with Monkey D. Luffy until EB02 comes out. But I think that doesn't even come out to it's only like 2 weeks away or something at the time of recording this video. At the time of recording and putting this video out, out. I think it comes out in like 2 weeks or something like that for EV02. Someone help me out in the comment section below if you don't mind. One thing I do wish they had done for this leader, I have one thing I wish I have to say real quick. I wish they made this leader Dressrosa as well. Because they did that. For those who are wondering, they did do that with Sabo. Like, okay, perfect. So here's Red, Yellow, Sabo, right? These came out in the same starter deck, ST13. They were the Three Brothers Bond or whatever. And Monkey D. Luffy came out, Red, Yellow, Sabo. And so Black, Yellow, Luffy, Red, Yellow, Sabo, and Blue, Yellow, Ace. Well, Sabo was Dressrosa. I wish they had made Black, Yellow, Luffy Dressrosa, because introducing Corda Coliseum to this deck would have taken it to the next level. And I know what people are going to say. It's like, hey, there's a leader coming out like that. Spoiler warning real quick, guys. Fast forward 10 seconds if you don't want to hear it. Black, Yellow, Koala is going to have Dressrosa built into it and Revo Army. So we'll be able to do what I'm talking about more with that deck. But until then, excuse me, until then, I do still think that the Dressrosa direction is a good direction for this deck moving forward, because we have, I mean, look at all the stuff we can do with this. So Rebecca can search up Bartolomeo, a 2K counter that's Dressrosa, and it can search up Frankie, and remember, Frankie can bring back cards like Bartolomeo or Rebecca for further value later in the game, alongside Viola, like we saw in the game that we showed off in today's video. It can search up this Trafalgar Law here. You can search up this Trafalgar Law because they're both Dressrosa. And it just seems like it has a lot of potential in here. It's something I'm very interested to see what more Dressrosa support comes out in the future in the black and yellow card pool, because I think it just makes this version of the deck, you know, have a lot more potential and a lot more consistency. We'll see what happens. But yeah, this is the direction I'm trending towards with Black, Yellow, Luffy. I ended up taking out the Ace because I just found myself never playing that card. But one thing I do want to introduce into this deck in the future at some point is some more ways to take life. I need to have more ways to take my own life cards. Like with cards like Monkey D. Luffy here, I need more ways to access my own life. So we'll have to see what happens with that. And again, not that we're trying to get down to 0 like we did before. For those who are not aware, Black, Yellow, Luffy used to be a leader where you would take your own life cards just so you can have access to your leader effect and just start gaining the life right back, and then buffing the power of your leader with these little 2-cost cards. Whoops, with these little 2-cost cards like Sabo here. But now I think we have to go in a slightly different direction. I don't know if we want to take our own life cards anymore like we used to, but at the same time, we still need to be able to when needed, so that we can activate the effect and have super powerful follow-ups off of that. So that's the current direction here. Like I said, a little bit of a tease today. I will be pursuing this leader more in the future, trying to figure it out more in the future, probably starting in EV02. Okay, so that's Black, Yellow, Luffy. Next up, we have Black, Yellow, Linlin. We got OP10 Black, Yellow, Revengelin. That's right, guys. We got Black, Yellow, Revengelin here. Let me read this leader so I can get it off the screen and fit it all in 2 lines. This is a 5,000 power, 4 life, Black, Yellow, 4 Emperors, Big Mom Pirates type leader. With Dawn ×2, when attacking, pay 2, so 4 Dawn altogether. You may trash 1 card from your hand, and if you have 1 or less cards in your life area, place up to 1 card from the top of your deck at the top of your life area. So this effect is a little overpriced nowadays. This card has kind of been power crept out of the game, and it also just never... My biggest problem with this leader is it never received any support from the black card pool. Like, no black Big Mom Pirate support. That kind of frustrated me, seeing that, like, okay, if you look at, we're on black and yellow. Okay, let me type in Mom for Big Mom Pirates. So look at this, guys. When you look at all the options out there, there are only 2 cards. Like this one came up as Mom because it has his name is Momonga. So it searched that up. This is not actually a Big Mom Pirates card. There are only 2 cards. Excuse me. There's only 1 card. I'm sorry. This is also Momonosuke. How funny is that? So we have Kazuki Momonosuke and Momonga coming up here. These aren't Big Mom Pirates cards. There's only a single card in the game right now, other than the leader. There's only a single character card in the game right now, and no events that are Big Mom Pirates in the black card pool. And yet we have an entire leader Black Yellow that's Big Mom Pirates. It really frustrates me that they did this. I wish they had given like a little bit of support here and there to this leader over time in the EB sets and stuff like that, but they just never did. They just simply never did, guys. And so that annoys me, and that's one of the main reasons I stopped playing this leader. I absolutely loved the way this leader functioned, but guess what? If I'm not going to get any support for the leader, it just gets left behind, right? The power level of the game slowly increases over time, and certain leaders like this just get left behind if they don't give it support needed to keep up. But other than that, I will say this: the deck was performing well for what it's worth. And I did have a few tech cards in here from the black card pool, but it's mainly just a yellow. It's practically a yellow Katakuri deck, guys. It's basically a yellow Big Mom Pirates Katakuri deck, and then I have a few black cards in here, like Stussy I was running as a one of, because I do have these cards like Charlotte Pudding that are probably going to hit the board and probably never see anything after that, or even Suru, something like that. You never know. If I need to, I could even maybe swing in with a Parasparrow, and then I can trash the card, so I won't get the on KO effect, but I can still trash the card if I need to remove something big, right? Like swing in with Parasparrow first, play out the Stussy, trash the card, and then trash one of their big characters. I was just experimenting with this. That's why there's only one. It might have some potential. We'll have to see in the future. Borsellino was actually a beast in that game we saw against Lucci, so maybe I'll go up to 3 or 4 of these. Who knows? We'll have to see what happens. I do have to be very careful, though. We have to be very careful about the trigger ratio in this deck, because I am running 4 Namis. Oh, speaking of which, let me go ahead and blast through this list now. I kind of just went off on a tangent there. So we're running 4 Surus, 2 Borsellino, 1 Stussy, 4 Charlotte Pudding, 4 Parasparrow, 3 10-cost Linlin, 3 Katakuri, 2 Beige, 4 Kikinojo, 4 Nami, 3 Brule, 3 of the 7-cost Linlin, 4 of the 2K counter Brule, 4 Shigan Finger Pistol, 3 of Shockwave, and 2 You're the One Who Should Disappear. Remember, guys, with Black Yellow Linlin, I can't really set this card up. I just have to get lucky and hit it from my triggers. So, I mean, I can't really set this card up in this version of the deck, without any kind of extra support added. So I'm just running 2 of these, because it does help me filter out a few bricks from my hand later in the game, like the Stussy, the 7-Lin, the Kikinojo, the Parasparrow, and all that stuff. But other than that, it's still a good card, right? It's still a good card that could just win you a game. Other than that, we're running 3 of the Katakuri, and there is an idea to maybe drop this Stussy and just go up to a 4th Katakuri, because hear me out. If I need to, I can combo Katakuri with a Suru, and I can get any character out of my way. I can just, and that's a 9 Dawn investment. That is a big investment. But for 9 Dawn, I can combo Suru with Katakuri and put whatever their best card is on the board into life. Anything but a Jack, right? Like pretty much anything but a Jack, and put it into their life. And then I have an 8,000 power body now, and I can go from there. But I will say this, it's not as easy as that sounds, because over the course of the game, you're probably going to be taking a lot of hits to life here, and plus you want to take hits to life so you can gain life with your leader's effect, right? So an 8 Dawn play is not very convenient for us. It's not very attractive, but it's still a very powerful card. And with 8-cost Kid running around in this meta, of course you have to still be able to deal with it. What else? That's really mainly all there is to talk about. I wish they had redone this card, guys. I wish this card said on play you may KO one of your characters, and then KO one of your opponent's characters. Like, I really wish they had done that. I understand people might say, like, oh, well, that'd have been too strong, this, that, and the other. I hear you, but I'm sorry. They should have made it in some way do that, because there are so many effects that could have been so much better if we could use their on KOs right here. Like, excuse me, this effect would have been so much better if we could combo it with on KO effects, because then we could KO our Charlotte Parasparrow to search cards. We could gain a life with this. There's just so many things we could have done. But, oh, well, it is what it is. I don't want to complain too much about it. I just wish they had done things a little bit differently in retrospect. But, again, it is what it is. Now, anything else in here to talk about? We're running this Nami. Pause and read this if you don't know what this does. The card's absolutely incredible. We are running 2 Beige here to stop some of their attacks. Same thing with You're the One Who Should Disappear. Shockwave, this is the card we were looking at earlier. This card is incredible. It was one of my favorite cards in the game when I first got into the game, because it's this defensive juggernaut card here that can just, 2 cost 4K to get out of an 8K attack, and then also KOs a 3 or less. So you can get rid of their little blockers, get rid of their utility cards on the board. And I do think this card's actually very good right now if you plan on going against if there's a lot of blue Doflamingos in whatever, tournament or locals you're going to. If you plan on going against a lot of blue Doflamingo players, well, guess what? When they go to attack in, you can use this and just rip their 2-cost Teach off the board, right? Just tear their Teach apart, because they can't just sit behind it, with a card like this in your hand, right? They either have to attack, which we can attack into it then, and that's fine, or they have to, if they choose not to play around this card, we can just KO their Teach without them even knowing it's going to happen. So, really good stuff here. Shigan Finger Pistol, just a very good card. It's just, it's removal. What more do I have to say? It's just strong removal. And everything else is pretty straightforward. I will say I'm not a huge fan of the 7-cost Linlin in the deck, but I am, let's go back just for a second mentally to the Black Yellow Luffy deck we were looking at. I think 7 cost is actually a pretty good spot in the deck right now for what I'm trying to do with it like now, right? Because I actually do really like the idea of running 7 cost Linlin and 7 cost Trafalgar Law as the absolute top end, maybe even 8 cost Katakuri as the absolute, you know, top end of Black Yellow Luffy, because that would allow us to do a lot, right? Like, okay, you want to give me a life or do you want to lose a life? Okay, well, do you want me to, you know, and then we have a 7 cost AK on the board. Or if we use the 8 cost Katakuri, it's like, okay, we can actually just push their guy out of the way and we still have 2 Dawn for our leader effect. So I'll talk more about that in a future video, I'm sure. But I do like that 7 cost spot in, from my recent testing in Black Yellow Luffy. But in Black Yellow Linlin, I don't love it. The only reason I can run Charlotte Linlin is because, okay, when I slam this down, I rip their life and I gain a life. And I have a 12k on the board that they have to deal with next turn, so it does a little bit more. Whereas if I try to slam down Charlotte Linlin, what if they choose to take a life and they can get me on, you know, they can take me out on the crackback? That's not good enough, right? We can't take that kind of risk, right? We just can't take that kind of risk. And then even if I had 10 Dawn, I can't use this and my leader's effect in one turn, so that kind of hurts us pretty bad too. Same idea with the 8 cost card here. Like, I mean, I guess we can choose to gain life with this if we want to, but it's I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. I'm not, I do like at least having like 1 or 2 of this 8 cost card in here. This has a different function than the 7 cost Linlin, but it's like, okay, with this being more of a tempo based card, maybe we actually just go 7 cost 9k Trafalgar Law and just choose to always gain a life. I don't know. It depends, guys. It really is situational. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. But it was very fun playing this deck again. We did not get to see all the cards in action, unfortunately, like the Stussy, or I don't even think we got to see Kikinojo in action, but this is a very strong card in the deck if we hit it early on our life. Okay. All right, we got one more deck to go over. It was Purple Yellow Nico Robin. All right, OP10. What did I call this thing? Nico Robin. OP10 Nico Robin. Okay, so let me read the leader so I can move this and get all on 2 lines. It's a 5,000 power, 4 life, purple yellow leader with Banish built in. It's a Straw Hat leader as well, so we have access to Gum Gum Giant. And it has, when attacking, you may trash 1 card with a trigger from your hand and then add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as rested. Okay, so we're ramping with that. Okay, so we are running 4 Charlotte Linlin, 4 Sanji, 2 Zoro, 3 Onami, 4 Shirahoshi, 2 Katakuri, 2 Sanji, 2 Satori, 4 Frankie, 3 Nami, 4 Nico Olvia, 3 Nico Robin, 4 Jaguar D Sol, 3 Basil Hawkins, 2 Nora Beamsword, and 4 Gum Gum Giant. This deck is actually pretty solid. It does have a few problems here and there. I think Shanks is a pretty rough matchup for it, and that's like half the environment, half the meta, so that's, you know, not great, not ideal, but it's, you know, who knows, maybe we can find a way to tech into it. But losing Raigo, it's like, I think for a while, this is a deck list I've been working on a lot with my buddy Mike, right? We do deck building all the time together in one piece. And for a while, we were running Raigo because it removes the big characters. However, even when Raigo was still in the format, we actually swapped over to Nora Beamsword because it hit 2 birds in 1 stone. Okay, so they play out a big character, right? And then they go into attack. Okay, well, typically speaking, people attack with their small characters first. Okay, that's fine with me. Well, if they do that, I can 7k counter out of, or 2k counter out to get to 7k and get out of their smaller attack a lot easier, and then still rest their biggest character over there. So we'll have to see going forward. I do need to put a lot more work into this deck, and especially maybe not even so much more work, but more play testing into it. But we'll have to see. Now, in this version of the list, this one is slightly updated to include OP10 cards. This is the first time I've updated this deck in a while. And I think what I did is I did -1 Nico Robin. And I think I did -2 of the 5 cost Miss All Sunday. It was this card right here. Let me go to purple. This card. I was running 2 of this, and I was running 4 of the 6 cost Nico Robin. I took out both of the Miss All Sundays and a single Nico Robin, and I went up to the 3 Basil Hawkins. This card has a little more utility in my opinion, and if you start looking through this deck list, we actually have a lot of cycling going on here, guys. Check this out. So draw 2, trash 1, draw 3, trash 2, basically draw one, trash one. If you think about it. Well, it's not draw one, trash one, but like, you know, this card goes to the trash from the trigger, right? If you get hit in your life and this card's there, you can trash this card to draw a card. Even if you're not at, you know, if you're not at 1 or less life, you can just trash this card to draw a card. But if you're at 1 or less life, it comes into play and you draw the card. So there's a lot going on there. And then 3 of this Nami, activate this effect. If you have 3 or less cards in hand, draw 1 card, right? So this is a very powerful effect here, and we have tons of cycling. That was just the character's effects that do it. Oh, and then Onami too. Trashing a card to draw 2 seems good. And then we also have Gum Gum Giant, of course, which is a trash 1, draw 2 as well. So there's a lot of cycling and card drawing in this deck. There's a lot more than you'd think. Like, you start playing, you're like, dang, I've got a lot of ways to get through my my deck and through my hand here and fix my hand. So pretty good stuff here. We are running the main feature in this deck list. I know a lot of people like to run like the 10 cost ace in here. I'm not a fan. I'm going to be honest. I'd rather keep 1 Dawn active. I would probably run 9 cost Yamato over the 10 cost ace. Like, personally, that's probably what I would do, because I just think it's a little bit better for what we're trying to do. 9 cost Linlin, I think, is the absolute best for what we're trying to do, because it comes down. It's a 9 cost 9K. We're going to push one of their cards into life, we're going to gain a life, and we're going to just banish every card they have in life with our effects, you know, between Nico, Robin, Basil Hawkins, leader effect, banish, and stuff like that. And then we're also running the 6 cost 7K promo Zoro here, which has banish built in as well. The only other card that I want up in this top, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10 cost range is the Katakuri. It's just a great card right now. There's no way around it. You know, getting Eustace Kid out of the way, and back before the bans, it could just push Gecko Moria out of the way. It just had so much value, so much potential. But yeah, big fan of this card. I think that's about it. I don't really have too much more to say. I have not really modified this list or updated it since OP09, other than this 1 card that I included over the 2 5-cost Miss All Sundays and the 1 Nico Robin. I just added 3 Basil Hawkins because it's another trigger body. It is draw 2, or it's not a trigger body, excuse me. It's another trigger. It's a 4-cost 5K with a 1K counter with a very relevant on KO effect, and the trigger is draw 2 trash 1, which is actually very nice, right? It's pretty good. And that's it, guys. I mean, that's really all I got for you guys today. I really want to hear what y'all have to say about these decks in the comments section below. I hate to be that guy that just kind of teases with these really fun-looking, different, you know, very different off-meta decks here. But I do plan, out of all 3 of the decks I showed off today, I'm most interested in making Black-Yellow Luffy work again. But I'm not going to really be pursuing that until EV02, once we get access to the... the new stuff, especially the 5-cost 6K Trafalgar Law, and then I'm probably going to be trying to explore a more Dressrosa style of that deck. It will be very hard to play. Like, let me tell you right now, it'll kind of work in the same way as my Blue-Yellow Ace deck is working. You know, definitely check out that video if you've not checked out the Blue-Yellow Ace video I put out about, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks ago from the time you're recording this one and putting it out. I put that one out about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think, and that deck, it's a life gain deck. It's not like it's not some kind of gimmicky aggro deck anymore. It's like an actual control life gain deck. And I think we need to explore the same pathway with Black-Yellow Luffy. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys up front here. I think Black-Yellow Luffy might get outclassed by a new leader coming out in OP12. Spoiler warning, Koala, I do think, is just going to be a better version of Black-Yellow Luffy, especially if we have to go down the Dressrosa path, if that ends up being the most consistent path. We'll have to see. Tell me what you guys think in the comments section below. I'm very interested to hear how you guys are building Black-Yellow Luffy, or anyone playing Black-Yellow Linlin or Purple-Yellow Nico Robin. Be sure to tell me how that's going in the comments section below. All right, let's do this, guys. Let's go ahead and end this off. Let me get the outro page on here. Big shout out to everybody who supports the channel, guys. Whether you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, whatever you're doing to help me out, I really appreciate it. Using the TCG Player affiliate link, donating through Patreon or PayPal, all the Playmat supporters, the YouTube members, the Discord community. Thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate it. It's you know, this has been an absolute blast. Okay, now real quick, I do have one more final announcement. I probably should have done this at the beginning of the video. I'll try to do it in the beginning of tomorrow's video. But we will be having a Win-A-Box tournament. Let me get that on the screen here. That is going to be April 27th this weekend, free to enter, 6 p.m. Eastern, and I should be streaming this, even though it's on a Sunday. I usually don't stream on Sundays, but with this being a Win-A-Box, I think we're up to 50 people signed up for this. It is free to enter. Be sure to stop by the Discord if you have more questions on that, or more, if you need more information on that. Big shout out to the sponsors on that, JT Dragon and Big Bear, for putting on that Win-A-Box locals. Again, it'll be this weekend on the 27th. Okay, that should be a Sunday, right? So Sunday the 27th. Let me check. I gotta check my calendar. I don't want to say anything wrong at the end of this video. Yeah, the 27th is a Sunday. It's in 2 days from at the time you're recording this video and putting it out. Okay, it'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern. $0 to register or to enter, and yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, and of course it'll be like OP10. It'll be like legal Western meta. Okay, all right, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed, guys. Let me get this off the screen now. The Win-A-Box thing. Thank you again to everybody who supports me in whatever way you do. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, peace.